And we're back. My name's Tris. I'm with Apple. On the 3rd of December, it's just gone 1:15, and we've got a very special guest in with us today, Nicole Butler. How are you going?
Good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's been a while since we've caught up.
I know, it has been a while.
Do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I like to say that I'm a woman of God. I'm an influential advisor and also a trailblazer.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, definitely, at heart, yes.
Like you also stood for state government, was it?
Election.
A while ago, yeah. How did that go?
Oh, that was an experience. Oh, wow, yes. Politics, yes. That was good. It was promoting the micro business party, so it's more about small businesses because I really have a heart to help people, like, serve them more with their business.
Yeah. And so you do, like you work in childcare and you help people set up childcare stuff. Tell us a bit about that.
So I started in 1998 and I was only 16 at the time. And I studied childcare and then I went on to manage childcare centres and then have my own childcare centres. And then, now we help people. Well, since 10 years now we've helped people obviously have our childcare centre and then help other people have their own childcare centre. And then do the whole compliance because it's a whole big...
Yeah, the legislation and all that. Yeah.
There's so much involved and it's changed, which is really, really good for our sector because it's more about the children, but you've just got to really know what you're doing. So we help people understand that and help them like learn not to make the mistakes that everyone makes because lots of people make the same mistakes. So we just get them out of that. And then also legislation and then also there's childcare subsidies. So there's a whole legislation on that. So we help them just educate them to know what to do. And also some people just follow the rule because they think they're supposed to do it, but it's actually not a rule. And they shouldn't do that. So then we help them change their mindset of we don't do it like that in WA and this is what we do.
Is that different then to eastern states?
It just changes. So each state has their own regulation that we follow. So, but we also help the other states as well get their provider approval and service approval. There's a whole lot of things.
That's cool. And what's the business called?
Childcare.
Cool. So where can you find out more information about it?
So it's Childcare, ANGELICARE.com.au.
Awesome. And like you must have helped a lot of people over the years do that.
Thousands, yeah. And train their staff. So we've actually worked with the bigger companies as well, training their staff. And we also do networking. I love networking. So we actually network with with our sector, different leaders as well in the industry, just to help them because some centres are about, this is my centre, I don't want to show it off. But then there's some about, no, I want to show off my centre. So it's really just having that mindset that we're here to help the children and the families. So then embracing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not going to be, showing off what you're doing, how's everyone going to know where to come and what to see,
I know. Is the thinking behind that like they're scared of competition or scared of people getting their ideas or...
That's right. Yeah, it is about that.
Yeah.
Getting their ideas and then they might, take those children from them, that kind of thing. But it's actually more about, because it's about exceeding. So there's different standards and then we also have different ratings. And so one of them's exceeding. And so it's really having a mindset of exceeding within your own environment of your actual childcare centre.
Yeah.
Because each environment and each atmosphere and all that, when you walk into a childcare centre, they're all different and they have all a different feel. So it's just really embracing their team and helping the team carry on the mission and the vision of what the actual owner has, and then just really creating that that actual environment that they really wanted. Because people go into childcare wanting to help, build childcare, wanting to help communities and wanting to help the children and the families, but it looks different for everybody. So we just help them create that, and then they can get excited about it.
Does that give you like a buzz then when you get involved and...
It's so amazing because people are like, oh, I want to have a childcare centre. And then it's like, okay. But then all this, they get bogged down with everything that needs to be done. And there is a lot. And then, but then when you just go, no, it's all right. We're going to be doing that. And you kind of just give them the step as they're going. Then they get like, oh, okay, wow, I really am going to have a childcare centre. Yeah, of course you are. Come on, let's get on with it. And then they're like, oh, okay. Oh, wow, I really want to do this. Yeah, I know you're going to be doing that. So let's just do that, and then we can do that. And then just then they get this amazing feeling when they walk into the childcare centre. It's like everything. Because we help them with from the scratch building and all that. And making that environment happen. But you also, they can buy a centre and then transfer it into their name, like the established ones.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So then they can help the policies and procedures be changed a little bit to tweak what they want. And then you can add on different programs, like some might want musical, some might want like languages taught. So there's all different things you can do in a childcare centre. So then it's just amazing, like helping them do that and accomplish it.
Yep.
And they think there's like all this, like they go, oh no, we can't do that. And it's like, well, why can't we? And so we work out how they can, because it's all about, in my brain, I've got all these regulations and legislations, and it's like, okay, let's work it out. So there was chipmunks right there in the north area. They really wanted a childcare centre, and they couldn't work that out. And then they went and they tried, and that didn't work out. And then I came in and we like worked out exactly, and then they were able to have it. And so then that manager, she was actually the owner, she was able to have her children with her while she was working.
Yep.
And so it was really good, especially for all other reasons, that they were able just to be together as a family, and then
That's awesome.
dream. It's exciting, yeah.
And what happens when some childcare centres have got a bad reputation and they want to start anew, or someone else gets under new management or something? That's where you come in as well.
Yeah.
So you got to start. That's got to be a wipeout as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to really market in a way of what they're wanting to do, and really make sure that the message they're putting across does seem genuine and real, so that they know that the stuff that was happening in the past, it's not happening again.
Exactly.
And then their staff are being trained because they can take on and, do it. But if the staff are still going to do that mindset of they just think they're supposed to do it, that's what happens. They think, I'm just going to do this because we've already done it. But it's really a mindset. So we also do training on leadership to actually change that mindset and go, okay, and there's a whole psychology around it as well, because they really think this is it. But when you break that down and say, okay, but this is also a way to look at it from the psychological point of view, this is what's happening. It's normally about the children. Then they go, oh, I didn't look at it like that. And that's when it has to be a shift. Because I started in 1998, so a whole lot of things have changed over those decades. And so I understand why they do things, and I try and tell my staff as well, like, why they're doing things, because they're like, well, why would they do that? I'm like, I know, but this is why. And then you take it back and they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah.
So a lot of it's kind of changing mindsets, is it?
It is, yeah. Yeah. And even that thing when you said, because it is about people's mindset. They're like, oh, I want a childcare centre, but really, they really can have it, but they think they can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And so then they're like, but what about, like my property? One of my friends really thought that it was about that they had to buy a childcare centre near a park, and that isn't a thing, but a lot of people think that. And so, because we have to do council approval, and there's a lot of things in there. And so it's like, yeah, and then when we explain the regulation of what more to that, then they're like, oh, is that why we're doing that? It's like, yeah, so, because like what is annoying is they might spend money on buying a place near a park, and that's not actually and then they don't set it up properly, and they don't create it properly and build it properly. They might like miss out one little thing, and that will mean they won't get council approval, they won't get regulatory approval. So then they've just spent money for nothing.
And that's all because they're misinformation or their misconception.
Yeah, so then it's like getting in earlier before they do that and say, this is actually the criteria you're actually looking for. And sometimes people put stuff on the website and it's incorrect information about ratios, and because we have to follow certain ratios.
Yep.
So just those kind of things, you can really see it for what it really is, as opposed to what people that are misinformed don't know. You can read it wrong. And projected finances, you can look at, we can actually look at the profit and loss, and then look at it if it really is profitable in a real way, and lots of things in that.
Is there many like small business childcare centres? Like I know there's a few that like have national bodies.
Yeah.
Is there a lot more smaller ones now, or?
There are lots of little ones, yeah. And then the little ones end up going to put so there's before school, after school, long day care, vacation care, and then there's family day care, and there's occasional care and creche. There's all those, right?
Yep.
And so so little ones can actually just have a long daycare. Then they can there's another one that has a long daycare. Then they build across the road and they've got an after school care there. Then they go and then get another premises. One of my friends actually brought, he's got 3 now. One of my other friends has got 5. So it just depends. You can just have one, but then you can add more. And then obviously the bigger ones are like owned interstate and that, and then they end up.
They have like hundreds.
Yeah.
And then if you get good enough, someone else comes and buys you out. You know.
Mhm.
Does that happen a lot? Where
Yeah, and it can be a real good flip on money
Yeah.
as well as
yeah,
you can do that as well. Exactly. Or they can
That's-
start out with having a family daycare and then go on to having because I had family daycare and then we went on to have childcare centres, and another friend of mine's done the same. So she had family daycare and then she went on and she's been running her childcare centre for years now, and she's just got the one. You know, it just depends.
Mm.
Some people buy a few, then they say I don't want 7, I just want 5, so then they sell them off because it's all about what you can manage as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the capacity and the resources that you've got.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly.
And how you can manage, like what we said before, like the leadership is the most important thing.
Mm.
It's not a bad employee. It's a bad leader who does not see that someone is not working well, those ethics to fix them up, you know.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell us about Mrs. Australia. How did that come about?
Yeah. So I know I do want to help make a difference in the world, and I know I can. And so one of my friends was Mrs. Australia International, and then that's kind of how I came about it. Because in Perth and WA and that, it's not really like we see it on the TV, yeah, but we don't really see it here. And so so it's just nice, like you walk around with your sash and people are like, wow, Mrs. Australia. And then so I know about it on the TV, but one of my friends introduced me to it. And then it's just amazing because it actually so you choose a platform. How it works is you choose a platform. So mine's Sparkling Angels. And so we allow everyone's inner sparkle to shine. And that looks different for everybody. And so it's just an amazing journey because you get to be around other empowered people and other people that are empowering women especially to then create the and help them with the vision and of what they want to do in their life.
Yeah.
Because it looks different for everybody. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
That's beautiful. Like, especially empowering women and that. We know what's been going on lately due to COVID as well. And I've recently come back from Greece. So I've got a year here. But due to COVID, there's people that are staying so long with the wrong partners in the same household. So there have been people that, women that have been killed as well. So they're not being safe.
And they did find that when 2020, when they had the initial lockdown in WA, DV spiked, and there was a lot more call outs for issues at home because people were trapped in the
They
home.
were trapped, they
and
couldn't get out of there.
Yeah.
So
I know. And already they feel like, so I've been through domestic violence, and already you feel like you can't get out, like in your mind. But when you're told you can't get out physically, so the people that you normally would talk to, they're not an option because that person's listening all the time, you know? So then they're like, well, what do I do? So it is, and also there's a whole psychological thing with domestic violence, and there's a whole can of worms in there. So I understand why it did spike, but that's what also Sparkling Angels is about, because it's about going through different stages of your life. So I went through domestic violence, and then I actually nearly got killed, and it was really full on. And then I was able to get out of it, and then able to help other people. So now I actually help other people get out of it because I know why they don't leave, and I understand from the other person's point of view why they do it in a way. Because I also help counsel people that want to stop doing it, but also counsel people that want to get out of it. And it's about doing it in a safe way.
Yeah.
So, and then that's just a stage of their life. It doesn't mean they have to be stuck there. They can still do other things and then help inspire other people. And they really have, so Sparkling Angels is more about a ripple of empathy, like a ripple effect of empathy. So we can say, oh, why don't they leave? Why did they, da, da, da.
Oh, it's easier said than done.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the worst thing you can say to someone.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand why you're not leaving. Come on.
Yeah, it's like, don't say that. Because it's like, it can take a while, but the thing is to give them hope that they're working on it, you know? There's a whole, that's why it's really awesome with one of them where I'm able to help people do family daycare, because family daycare, they're allowed to do it from their own home. And so then they're able to look after children in their own home and then bring in income, and then they can be financially viable as well. And then it also, because a lot of the stress came from COVID with the money side of things as well.
That was
put
huge.
Pressure on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially before JobKeeper started. So JobKeeper was a massive relief, but it took them a good 2 months to sort that out. And like a lot of people didn't know that they were entitled to that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, that couple of months initially was quite a hard time, I think.
Yeah, really stressful for people. And then it's also the whole mindset of I've got to get help from Centrelink. That's another thing.
Oh yeah, especially if you got to contact them and you're like 45 minutes on the phone
Yeah.
waiting for an operator, where you just get frustrated because it goes, well, I've got to connect you to someone else, and you're waiting again.
And then they don't even know like what to ask for. You can just go operator, and you'll get an operator straight away.
Yeah.
But if they keep asking you, say this, say that, and then they don't even know what they're asking about.
Yeah.
Then they're like,
Yeah, once I was talking, I go, I said something, and they said, you said, and they said a number, and I go, I did not say that. What's going on? So,
Yeah.
a computer.
And I think that when you're frustrated and you're worried about your finances and you're having to go on Centrelink, having to wait for 45 minutes is just, it's going to get your emotions up, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And your triggers and everything. And especially, coming back to what we were saying before, people that are not having the strength to stand up and speak up. It's just, I don't have that time to wait sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. Yeah.
You don't have that time. And I've got a 10-minute break. He'll be back or whatever, Can I speak,
I know. That's right. And then you have to go on computers and then do things, and you have to do it in a certain way. Yeah. There's a whole lot to it. So it's just having someone there to be able to talk to or call them. And then they're like, okay, we're still getting on with, because they feel like they're not getting anywhere. But if you give them a plan of little bits at a time, and then when there's children involved too, there's a whole other thing. So you really, it's not as easy as it is. But it is achievable, because I've been there, done that. So it is achievable, and your life can get better. It's just helping them through that stage, and it's just a season that they're going through, and the seasons always change.
Yeah.
Then you can help them with other, and it's about it's actually about a community. So there's different, and I love networking, so I link in with different people. And so I have a really big network to be able to go, okay, now you need to go to this person, and now you go to that one, and now
you know how to refer, eh?
Yeah.
Well, so there are people that do know a lot of people but have no idea what they do. And that's the part about networking and doing it properly and correctly.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Who's going to look after those people? Do you know? Because it's about establishing reliable, trusting people of where to go. So because we know if we send them to a certain place, they're might be forgotten, or they might be like whatever, or they might not even believe them. So it's really about connecting them to be able to get exactly what they need done. That's what it is.
So you mentioned before that you counsel people. Is that through the church, or is that through your business, or?
Yeah, I do through my business, because I'm also when I was managing childcare centres and owning childcare centres, I was also before that a lecturer at TAFE. So I have 10 qualifications. I love studying. So I do have the Diploma of Counselling, halfway through my Bachelor of Education, change over to Bachelor of Social Science. So I have that background, plus an advanced diploma in community services, and then a diploma in children's services, and then diploma in early childhood education and care.
Oh, you had a lot of free time on your hand, eh?
Management, I know, right?
I was just talking, I've got no mindset to go into my diploma now. Yeah.
You got a car parking space at the TAFE, have you, or?
I know. Okay, well, I also used to have my own registered training organisation. So the good thing about all this, right?
Go figure.
Is that what I'm concentrating on as well right now. So what we do is we have quarterly networking events, really big ones. So we get to I can have an event and go, okay, now this person, you really need to talk. And sometimes I do it on Messenger, they talk, but it's better when you do it face to face.
Oh, you bring them together.
Really
yeah.
bring them together, yeah. And then I'm concentrating on inspiring. So a lot of the teens just got out, and they're looking at where to start. So I'm also embracing doing some career counselling with them to work out the training plan that they need, because lots of people need to just know the plan. Otherwise they waste time and money and energy studying the wrong course as well. And then motivation, that can also lead to bad mental health, because they're not working out what they're passionate about.
Yeah, they're niche.
They just feel like they're
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, they get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so because I know all my background about the best training plan for them, we worked that out. But then it's also about helping them build their business, because lots of young people have awesome entrepreneurial skills and amazing thoughts, right?
Absolutely.
So I
They
really
just
wanna-
lack the confidence and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of adults say their mindset so you got to break through their strongholds. So they think this certain way, and then you got to. Whereas when they're younger, you don't have to. So as much, right?
Yeah, you can sculpt them
Yeah.
better when they're younger.
Yeah.
And help them, yes, and inspire them. And because I was 16 when I moved out of home, but I was also fostered, so I've had like a full on up and down life. And so I had to work it out when I was 12, when I was fostered, how to work things out. I didn't realize back then that in a world that your mum doesn't have to be there with you all the time. I didn't know that. When you're 12 and you're like, hang on, what? I'm being away from my mum, and hang on, what is this?
that's a very young age to have that kind of thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Isn't
a
it?
crucial age. Like
it
it's
is,
just before the teens, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially for a girl as well. Like
Yeah.
it's not easy.
So you had to be self-sufficient pretty young.
Pretty much work it out. So then that's why I want to help younger ones also. I do help adults as well, but I want to help. And our team, because we've got like financial advisors and real estate brokers and accountants and all that. So we set it up properly because that's how it has to be. But then we concentrate on their strengths and then working out what they're best at doing. And then we create a team around them, supporting them what they're not so good at, and then just upskilling them. It's a bit like that. Yeah. That's exciting to be part of that. So it's all exciting, you know?
And it sounds like a lot of the stuff you do is about mindsets and helping people's thinking and around mental health as well.
Yeah, it has to be about that, because that's what gives them the motivation to keep going. Otherwise, they'll get stagnant and feel like they failed, but they didn't actually fail. You just have to fail forward to do that, to achieve it.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't try, you'll never succeed.
I know.
You might fail, but it's better failing than not trying.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
And I like the thing that there's no such thing as failing as long as you learn from it.
Oh,
you
it's,
know?
it's always
That's
an
the
experience.
Thing, yeah.
It's always a learning curve there and learning experience to get.
Yes. Exactly. That's right, yeah. It is about that. Because you'll learn as you're going through it, and then you'll go, okay, well, I won't do that again. And because, you know, when they're, like, you know, you'll tell someone something and then they might do it anyway, but then they learn from it when they do it, then they're like, oh, I won't do that again.
Yeah.
And if someone can learn from your mistakes too, they don't have to do it.
Mm.
So
Yep.
that's,
Yeah, you can save them like years of struggle.
yeah. If only I had that when I was young, you know.
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah.
That's what it
We had to self struggle, you know, and take care of ourselves when we were young, you know. That's how it was back then.
Yeah, it was like that. That's why I want to be that person for the people, because I didn't have that. And I'm like, and when you're a ward of the state, your person changes all the time. So you go to a person, then they change because of the jobs and stuff. So it's just about setting them up to be who they're actually supposed to be, but through, like, so I've got a student. So she actually disclosed some child abuse that she went through, and so she got kicked out of home and stuff. And so I was there through the stage through that, and then she was also suicidal. So I helped her through that stage, and she went into hospital, and I got her through that stage. And then setting up different, like, who she needs to talk to. I even went with her for her NDIS plan. The person there thought I was getting paid for it, but I was actually just helping her as a friend, which is fine. They can assume what they want to, but I was still there to be able to say, okay, but remember.
You're an advocate for her, like that.
Yeah.
So that they don't understand what advocacy is. You know, it's crazy. Yeah.
And so because I knew her, a bit of her family and that, I'd remind her. Then she actually had a full-on, like, meltdown because for some reason the lady accidentally said, we're not sure if we're going to be able to fund that, and we're trying to see if you can get funding. So that made her world go upside down because she was relying on a certain amount of hours for her support worker. And then introducing the fact that that might not be a case, she actually walked out of the room. So then I had to help her and just talk to her and say that she has to say that because, you know, like, they're trying to work out whether you can get funding or not. And she'd already had funding, so I wasn't really worried about it, but I had to let her know. And then she came back in and she finished the conversation and the interview, and it takes hours because they go through each question. And so, and then she's also going through her own mental thing of whatever they're asking. So you have to shift her off that and get her on point again. And then she did end up getting the funding and everything was fine and nothing got lowered, and then she was all good and she's doing much better, you know?
Yeah.
So you get to just help them through different stages of their life and what they're doing now. She wants to try for a baby, and so yeah, it's just amazing being part of helping people, inspire them. I actually had some teenagers that weren't able to go to high school because of bullying and that, and they came to class, and then one of them now has his own dance studio, and like he inspires many girls and women as well to be awesome dance students. And so, it's just amazing. They win awards and everything. Another student, she came and she looked sad, and I was like, "Are you okay?" I settled everyone for their class, and then I said, "Are you okay? It seems that you're a bit upset." And she's like, "Oh, my brother just committed suicide yesterday, and then I wanted to come to class because you make me feel good." So it's actually just being that person for them to help them through.
And give them that strength.
That's amazing work that you do though to help those kids.
Right? You just people are like, "Why do you need to help them?" It's like, well, why can't you not? Like, how can you not? Right? You know, like it's gonna like, how can you not? I don't understand how you can't help someone that is in need. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an instinct.
I changed the whole career to be able to help people. I was in the banking industry in Greece, like 13 years.
Wow.
And the music industry, because I'm an artist, right? But I've come here and I wanted to help people and work with them. Either was in employment or something. I saw that didn't work out, so I went and studied community services. So I can be that, you know, mentor, that empowerment, that counselling, just give that help. And I came here for, you know, to do my prac work, and I'm still here.
It's always a good sign.
And I'm helping out here, just volunteering and helping out and just being here for people. It's great. And I really appreciate what you've been doing, and it's amazing. Like, I really want to find out more. Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you?
So I do have a Facebook page, Nicole Butler, as well as my official one on Instagram, Nicole Butler official one on Instagram. And then Childcare has its own website and profile as well.
On LinkedIn
Facebook.
as well?
And I'm also on LinkedIn, yeah.
Yep.
As in Nicole Butler, yeah.
You've got to be on all the socials these days, haven't you? So
right?
it's.
Oh, man. I'm good. I'm also on TikTok too, yeah. So it's just about...
How's your TikTok going?
Yeah, because so what you've got to do is you've got to be on all different platforms depending on, because I'll meet someone and then they might be on Facebook, they might be on Instagram, but the younger ones will be on TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
So you've got to meet them where they're at. That's what it is. And LinkedIn is all about...
Go to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go to them. They're like, I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram. Okay, find yourself on LinkedIn. Oh, yeah, I do LinkedIn. Okay, then let's do that. Whereas TikTok is a whole different way of expressing themselves. So I understand why they use it. So yeah.
And TikTok is incredibly short videos as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is. Yeah, and I really have a passion for the TikTok, because what I'm finding is girls, you know, they're wanting to get these likes and that, and they're actually showing themselves in a way that they think it will get more likes, but it's actually on a not such a good idea, right? Because they're so young. So it's really about being, and even with my Instagram, if you look on my photos and that, it's really about helping them understand what is actually, because really they might be doing it because they're wanting to be sexy, they think sexy sells, that kind of thing, but confidence is more sexy.
yeah.
Okay? And so it's just about retraining them to think, okay, this is actually what, because they're only young. Some of them are only young, and then that's going to lead when they're older. We don't know what they want to be, because they really can be like political leaders, and that can really affect them later.
Yeah.
And
Because it's all stays, isn't it?
yeah, so much that can be involved. And what happens is if they forget their TikTok account and a password, and they think, oh, actually, I might just create a new one. Well, all those videos are just left there for everyone to see. And then so it's just about letting them know what the standards should be, and then encouraging them that of what do they want to be showing the world, and what's going to be with what they actually want to achieve. Because some might be amazing dancers and singers and get into that, and so and then that might really suit their plan for their life. But if it doesn't, then we need to help them to know what the plan is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's been amazing having you in today, Nicole. I'm so glad that things are going really well for you, and maybe we can get you back in another time.
That'd be nice. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was great having you on. Yeah.